Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University in Trinity, issue number 19. Oof. So what basically happens here is the good guys are at the castle, and Morgan, the warlord's daughter, says, "Oh yeah, man, Warlord's definitely dead. He really is dead, and the bad guys are coming. And oh, I made you blind. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that you were actually really tough, so you could go through all these ridiculous challenges to get here. And oh yeah, Superman, I could have helped you out and given you, at least some of your powers back, but I didn't because." Pfft. And then they're like, "Wait, well, what's going on?" It's like, "Well, don't worry. If you think that I'm not the bad, if you think that I'm the bad guy, no. Look, here's the bad guy. Here's Demios. Here's a picture of him. Look, doesn't he look like the devil? He'd even like it if you told him that. Yeah, it's cool, man." And then like, okay, well, he's definitely the bad guy because look at the way he looks, man. He looks like Asmodeus. So I was like, okay, let's go and beat up the bad guys. So they beat up the bad guys, and it turns out Warlord's not dead. And then boom, they show up back home, and Steve Trevor's not really Steve Trevor. He's really Demios. He's like, "I've got Steve Trevor. You want him? Come and get him." Now, how did that sound to you? How did that description sound to you? It sounded rushed, right? That's how this comic book was. Okay, now I have commented on the Trinity from issue 1 of the rebirth to coming over to this new DCU and all that good stuff, man. The all-star DCU. Look, dude, when push comes to shove, I know that James Herbert. I just combined the artist and the writer. James Robinson is a better writer than this, okay? This guy, like, you ever heard the term, he could drink me under the table? Yeah, this guy could write me under the table. So I am not insulting him as a writer when I say this. What I am saying is I feel like I could have written better than him in this. Now, this is issue number 19, and in 3 issues, that's issue number 22, and that's the final issue. They've canceled this story. I want you to think about what that means, though. So a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, well, they're canceling the story. He's got to hurry up and get the story out." Okay, you're right. But this is right also. This is the Trinity. This is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The 3 key, most popular characters in all of the Marvel Universe. Wonder Woman just had the best movie that DCEU has probably ever put out. And come on, man. Like Batman, the best-selling comic book ever. Superman, the most recognizable superhero ever, and probably the second best-selling comic book ever. Celebrating the 1000th issue of his first appearance in Action Comics. And yet, somehow, this title was canceled. So what does that say? You see, it's not just about taking the one thing and then building off that. No, think a thought all the way through and really think about this. This title was canceled. How did that happen? One of the ways that it happened is the same thing I've been complaining about since the beginning. Look, the first arc of the story was amazing. It was amazing, and it kind of ended a little flat because it felt like James Robinson was rushing to get to the next part. And I'm not interested in just seeing the next part. I want this to have a good, positive resolution. Let me see what actually happens. Let the effects reverberate throughout history. Hey, there's still 3 more issues left. Maybe that first arc will come back to haunt us. You know what I'm saying? In the next 3 stories. I don't know, but dude, like, come on, man. The art in this was amazing. Jack Herbert is beyond belief. This guy's on another level. Right, and the colorist, Gabe, can't pronounce his last name. Yeah, wow. Dude, these guys. Oh. And I think that the big problem here is that James kind of rushed several storylines and then dragged out some others. You know what I'm saying? The whole evil Trinity thing was dragged out a little bit too much, where we didn't know what their plan was. I still don't know what the plan was, and the arc is over. It's done and gone, man, and I still don't really know the crux of why that arc even happened. You know what I'm saying? We've got the evil Trinity here. Oh, but Lex Luthor's not going to be a part of it. And you're waiting for him to come back. He really doesn't. It's like, okay, now it just became Cersei doing her thing. Dude, what is happening here? And then the Etrigan story that was in the annual, like, are you kidding me? That should have been an arc in and of itself. That was amazing, but it was rushed. So we're getting a lot of stop and go. Okay, this is an accordion effect of a comic book title, and I understand why it's been canceled. I've been on it on every single issue, and I will stay on it until issue number 22 because there is great story here, and I'm going to use this stuff in role-playing games. Make no mistake, but I'm going to be changing up a lot of stuff. Now, you know, I don't know if anybody's ever gone on a cruise or some kind of a vacation, because I'm going to give you an example here that I think a lot of us can relate to. If you've ever gone on, or if you plan on going on some kind of vacation where there's an itinerary, like let's say you're going to stop off in, let's say Rome. You can't see, Rome wasn't built in a day, so don't try and see in a day. That's what they'll tell you. Well, it's true, it's true. But let's say you are 2 hours late getting off your ship and you want to go and see everything. You could rush through and see a whole bunch of things, you know what I'm saying? And like see, you could do your entire itinerary, just drive faster, you know, or don't spend as much time when you're there, whatever. Or you can just try and change up your itinerary and realize that you'll be able to come back. There's the opportunity to come back again one day. You know what I'm saying? Throw a coin in the Trevi fountain, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to come back to Rome again one day. But the idea for me is, this felt like there was a lot of times where it was just like, I've got to hit all these points that I originally, this is my story that I want to tell, and I'm going to tell the story the way that I want to tell it. I'm just going to have to do it a lot faster. Well, now it's not really your story anymore, is it? You've compromised on your story. So why don't you compromise in a better way and change the story up a little bit? Again, finding out that Demios is the bad guy just because of a picture of the way he looks is the exact opposite of how any story should ever be told. Really? Like one of the first lessons, tell me a lesson you learned earlier than don't judge a book by its cover. You probably can't. So there's a scene in here where Batman tells this dude, tell me what's going on. And you're from Earth, tell me what's going on. I can't, or they're going to kill my family. So he puts a gun up to his head, boom, pulls the trigger, kills himself. And Batman just stands there looking stoically on. He doesn't try and stop him. Okay, I get it. He doesn't try and stop him. Okay, but at the same time, he also doesn't investigate it. He doesn't follow that up. There's no follow-up to that whatsoever. Somebody's got, your kids, your family. We've got to investigate this. I've got to see he's the world's greatest detective, for crying out loud. It's in the name. In fact, the comic book that he came into and he's still into, and they're at issue number 976 right now, is Detective Comics. Really? And he doesn't get the inkling to check that out a little bit more? So everybody's acting out of character here for the most part. And like the story is just rushed like nobody's business. Nobody's business. You can't, Rome wasn't built in a day, don't try and see in a day. But you're still going to be in Rome. And if you got 2 hours less of the time that you thought you were going to have before your ship disembarks, my suggestion is modify your itinerary just a little bit, okay? Just skip one thing if you have to. If you have to, skip one thing. You know what I'm saying? Tell it in a backstory if you have to. Anything. Just don't keep trying to hit all the points, but do it, half-heartedly. This was a huge disappointment because I saw that there was an amazing story here, and we didn't get it. We just got what should have been. So I'm literally going to look at this as a Dungeons and Dragons role player. Okay, I'm going to look at this as this is a really awesome story, and I'm going to retell this story in a game adventure that I dungeon master one day. But I am so going to cut some things out and add a whole bunch more things and make this into my own. And I think it's going to be a better story. And it's not because I'm a better writer than James Robinson. Just simply because I'm not going to be in a rush. And there's no reason why this should have been in a rush, man. Like I said, I get that the title's being canceled, but how the heck do you cancel the Trinity? How do you cancel the most popular characters in the comic book universe? In comic book era, this is the comic book era. You know what I'm saying? WWE had the Raw era, the Attitude era, and the Ruthless Aggression era, and then the Rock and Wrestling era, and now the Who Cares era. And this, this is the superhero era that we're living in real life, man. And somehow the three most popular characters in one comic book were canceled. That would be like canceling the Avengers. That's what this would be like. Except worse. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. This gets no grade. This gets very little love. This was a disappointment. This was a huge disappointment. Wow. And I hate that. All right, guys, that's it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.